Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 5 Rounds Podcast, the only podcast out there with a cardio for those deep water championship rounds. I am Mags, and I've just finished watching UFC Fight Night 203, headlined by Thiago Santos taking on Magomed Ankalaev. But before we get there, let's quickly run through these prelims. So we started the night with Tafon and Chukwi unfortunately getting the knockout loss to Amazat Mirzakhanov. Then we saw Guido Canetta getting the first round knockout against Chris Martino in the Bantamweight. Going up to the middleweight division, we saw Cody Brundage getting the first round sub against Dalcha Lungiambula. Then we saw Miranda Maverick picking up the second round sub against Sabina Matzo. Moving on to the featherweight division, we saw Damon Jackson getting the second round sub against Camuela Kirk. Trevin Jones, unfortunately, he lost on decision to Javid Basharat in the bantamweight division. And then JJ Aldrich picked up the decision against Gillian Robertson in the women's flyweight. And then the final prelim of the day was Matthew Semmelsberger picking up the decision against AJ Fletcher. So moving into the main card, and we started the action with Alex Pereira taking on Bruno Silva in the middleweight division. Very, very interesting fight. Very, very scrappy. I think for me in this fight, this came down to volume versus accuracy more than anything. I think Bruno Silva threw a hell of a lot of shots, but Alex Pereira was the way more accurate with his numbers. Alex also did really well with the takedown defense, threw a lot more kicks. Silva threw a lot of kicks of his own, aiming a lot to the head. In this first round, we see a brutal-looking clash of legs from both guys. First round, I thought that Pereira just took it. In the second round, I thought that Silva and his output more than anything really kind of fired back. He started to go with way more kicks, landing some more of his takedowns. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to keep Alex Pereira down for too long, and Pereira was still very, very dangerous when it came to the grappling, landing body shots and short punches. But Silva certainly kind of turned the screw in that second round. In the third round, though, Pereira really kind of started to get the better of the exchanges. We saw him really kind of push with some crisp boxing. We saw him land some really good clinch attacks, especially with the knees. He was able to sprawl a lot more when it come to Silva's takedowns, which meant he was clearly kind of counteracting that takedown from Silva. And yeah, he just landed much more in the third round. Really kind of turned the pressure up and earned himself a very decisive victory. In fact, on the judges' scorecards, they actually give all 3 rounds to Pereira. For me, I think the second round was a little bit more debatable, but certainly Pereira definitely deserved the victory. Going into the second fight, we were in the lightweight division with Drew Dobber versus Terence Mckinney. Terence looking to push on from his 2 UFC victories with 0 losses, and Drew Dobber looking to really kind of cement himself as a top challenger in this division. And it looked pretty brutal from the start. Terence Mckinney charges forward, lands a knee, drops Dobber almost straight away, absolutely swarms. It looked like it was all over, but the referee coming in to stop the fight. But Drew Dobber, what a chin he's got, what composure he showed as well. He was able to kind of suck up all those shots, really kind of let McKinney gas himself out, able to get back to his feet, then gets hit with another knee, which takes Drew Dobber back down again, and yet again Mckinney swarming with punches. You can see the punches slowing though, because of obviously the gas tank was clearly emptying, but Mckinney was giving everything he could to be able to take out Dobber. Dobber, like a Terminator, back up to his feet again, ends up being taken down this time, gets in guard. Mckinney's landing the shots. Dobber's able to get him pushed off, gets back to his feet, and this is where Drew Dobber's kind of cardio and his experience in UFC comes into play, because Mckinney was clearly gassed. He had emptied that tank in that first minute to try and finish this fight, and that gave Dobber the opportunity to hit back. He ends up taking down Mckinney with some big shots, follows up with ground and pound, and Keith Peterson has no option but to stop this fight. Absolutely huge victory for Drew Dobber, especially when you consider how easily it could have gone very, very wrong for him in that first minute or so of the round. But Drew Dobber comes away with the victory, and Terence McKinney gets his first ever UFC loss. So third fight of 6 on this card, and we are up to the light heavyweight division now. And it's Carl Robertson taking on Khalil Roundtree. A little bit of sizing up in the first minute or so of the first round. Then we see some action, a lot of leg kicks, chopping, really focusing on the kicks more than anything. Robertson landing some big kicks to Roundtree's leg, which is answered back by some huge overhand rights by Khalil Roundtree. These two really were looking to end this fight pretty quickly. Some good jabbings from both guys. The body kicks were coming in, really hard punches. Both guys were able to survive that first round, but coming out into the second, Roundtree lands a massive combo, right hook that sends Robertson crashing to the floor. Roundtree then swarms him, tries to finish the fight with some heavy punches. Robertson gets back to his feet, but then Roundtree hits him with that liver kick right to the sternum, and Robertson just folds over like a deck of cards before Roundtree is able to really kind of capitalise and hit the ground and pound. Herb Dean pulls him away. This fight is over, and a huge victory for Khalil Roundtree. And not only that, his post-fight speech was inspirational, talking about how if he can come out of the life he's had and do this, then other people can. Massive victory for Khalil Roundtree, really kind of impressive. And yeah, it's hopefully this will be the kind of jumping off point for someone who's traded wins and losses throughout his 11 fights in the UFC. So yeah, hopefully good things are in his future. So going into the back end of this main card, and we had Bruce Leroy Alex Caceres taking on Sadiq Yusuf. Sadiq, who's really kind of struggled with injury and illness recently, on his comeback fight, unfortunately was unable to get the victory. Different story here, as he gets the unanimous decision over Alex Caceres. For me, he was very bright all the way through the fight. His shots were strong, his shots were sharp. He mixed up a lot of work. He was able to get plenty of takedowns throughout this fight, able to really kind of frustrate Alex Caceres, who likes to use his almost capoeira style of mixed martial arts to beat his opponents. Caceres did certainly have his own chances at the end of the first round. He was able to reverse being took down by Yusuf and almost get a choke. But once that was over, it was pretty much all Yusuf from there on in the second round. We see him land an inside leg kick that takes Caceres down to a knee. Caceres landed a couple of punches of his own, but those leg kicks really, really work well for Sadiq Yusuf. We then going into the third, and again, Yusuf was firing back with leg kicks, really doing well in taking out the biggest weapon in Alex Caceres' arsenal, and that's his leg kicks. It's as simple as that. We see a spinning back kick though from Caceres that lands to the body, but Yusuf, every single time he felt a little bit of threat from Alex, went straight back to those inside leg kicks and was landing them time after time after time. Caceres tried to go for broke in the latter stages of this third round, landing an uppercut, going for a couple of takedowns, both of which didn't quite connect. We do end up ending up the round though with Yusuf being dropped to the floor again with those inside leg kicks, clinching up against the fence. An attempt by Yusuf for the guillotine in the last few seconds, but it was to no avail, and yeah, the judges all gave the victory to Sadiq Yusuf, who, like I said, comes back into the game after that loss, looking to really push in this featherweight division. Going into the co-main event now. And we had Marlon Moraes, former title challenger here in the Bantamweight division, taking on Song Yadong, someone who's really kind of making a name for himself in the UFC. Looking to extend his win record, looking to really push for Bantamweight title contention. And this fight was really, really good. We saw a refreshing revived Marlon Moraes really start brightly, blocking the quick attacks by Song, but within a few seconds of blocking a head kick, Song lands a beautiful 3-punch combo, one to the back of the ear, one to the jaw, and then a beautiful uppercut that puts Moraes down on the floor. Song follows up with some pressure. We see that Moraes does seem to recover, comes back and tries to land some shots of his own, and then again Yadong is there with that very, very similar combination. The 1-2-3 shot absolutely puts Moraes out, to the point where Moraes was signaling to the referee, keep it and stop this fight, it's over, I have got nothing left in me. Massive victory for Song Yadong. Really puts himself in the picture, but interestingly enough, in the post fight chat with Paul Felder, he called out Dominic Cruz. He says he really has a lot of respect for Dominic, for what he's done for this division and for UFC in general, and he wants to face the best, and that for him, for Song Yadong, the best is Dominic Cruz. So if that fight does come off, that will be a very, very interesting fight. So then let's get into this main event. Magomed Ankalaev, one of those Dagestani fighters who are just starting to really kind of dominate their divisions. This one in the light heavyweight division, he was ranked, I think, 6th for taking on Thiago Santos, former title contender, who also was ranked in the top 5. So this was a really kind of a jostling for position to be the person who takes on Glover Teixeira and Ojira Prochazka after their title match, which is coming up in a few weeks. And the highest betting favourite on the card, Magomed Ankalaev, by a long way. and he proved why in this fight. A very nervy first round. Both guys kind of didn't want to show their hand too quick. And it takes a couple of minutes before we see some really, really big moves. We see Ankalaev land a massive right hand that rocks Santos for a little bit, but because of the nerves, he doesn't follow up, and that gives Santos the opportunity to recover. Lands a combination of his own. Body kicks from Ankalaev. Santos misses with a front kick to the head. Then we see another kind of slowdown in action. Both guys throwing some kicks before we basically come to the end of that round. Ankalaev taking it from me. Second round, Santos come out with a little bit brighter, landing some hard leg kicks. Was looking for the head kick over and over again, not able to quite pull it off. But the threat was certainly there. He was much brighter, and coming towards the end of the second round, lands some really nice combinations that eventually drops Ankalaev. Unfortunately, there's not enough time there for Santos to capitalise on that, but it certainly gives Magomed a lot of food for thought. And he took that food for and really kind of ran with it. So for the next three rounds, he really starts to crank up the pace. We see Santos go for some oblique kicks, which are quickly countered with left hands and front kicks to the body. Santos's kicks were effective in these three rounds. He mixed them up quite well. Got some inside leg kicks, some outside leg kicks, but all in all, he was dominated when it come to punching, and that's where Ankalaev really kind of pushed. And really kind of up the ante. But Ankalaev also mixed in with some kicks and was able to land a few of his own. He was also able to clinch a lot better than Santos and really kind of forcing him up against the cage. In the fourth round, we get a takedown from Ankalaev with about 30 seconds to go. Santos is getting grounded and pounded, but is able to avoid the big shots. So we go into the fifth round, and Ankalaev quickly lands some kicks, which are followed up by Santos throwing some of his own. Then we see Ankalaev really kind of turn up the pace with some combos with his hands. Lands a right to the head, left to the body. He then clinches and lands some knees to Santos. Really kind of grounding Ankalaev, grounding Santos up against the octagon fence. Doesn't really try too much for the takedown, landing more of the knees and the shots to the thigh. And we kind of end that round and the fight there, where Santos is being grappled up against the cage, not really able to do much against the output of Magomed Ankalaev, and the judges gave it all the way to Magomed, 49-46, 49-46 and 48-47. So a huge victory for Magomed. Certainly should put him in that title picture. And we'll potentially see him taking on Jiri or Glover in that upcoming fight. But yeah, that's pretty much this card wrapped up now. Next week we have a card here in the UK, headlined by Tom Aspinall, who's really making strides in the heavyweight division. He's taking on Alexander Volkov. We've also got Arnold Allen taking on Dan Hooker, and Paddy the Baddy Pimlet taking on Rodrigo Vargas. Some really interesting fights there, so definitely tune in to that next week. But other than that, that's pretty much all from me. A pretty quick show for your ears this week. Make sure to give me a follow on Twitter at Podfather Mags, make sure to give Carlos a follow at Kirby_Carlos, follow the show at 5 Rounds Pod, and definitely go and check out some of the amazing content from the networks that we are massively proud to be a part of. That's here at the Chair Shot, that's Visionaries Global Media, and of course that's at Radio Tekkers. But that is all from me tonight, guys, and that is the end.